and press.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi folks, welcome to today's webinar from iPass. Today we're going to be talking about how iPass is combating Wi-Fi security threats. My name is Barry Solomon and I'm a product marketing manager here at iPass. Little housekeeping. During this webinar, you'll have the ability to post questions, so please go ahead. We have moderators who will be picking up the questions and assigning them out and bringing them to my attention as we go through the session. So let's get started. At iPass, we take our customer security very seriously. Today, we're going to be talking about how the common security threats in a Wi-Fi connected environment and how iPass protects users every step of the way. Now, industry analysts' reports are telling us that mobile attacks and vulnerabilities are increasing. In fact, there was a big spike in 2017 in terms of news stories and attacks that made it into the news media. However, whatever we're hearing about on the news is just the tip of the iceberg. The vast majority of these breaches and attacks go unreported. And cyber attacks can be very damaging. Just one attack can result in significant financial or reputational damage to an enterprise. In the news recently, there was the Equifax breach that's not only had huge repercussions for the company, but the entire credit reporting industry is now under scrutiny. Now, while cyber attacks and breaches continue to proliferate, employees at the same time are becoming increasingly mobile and they're using their devices outside of the corporate firewall. They're choosing to connect to Wi-Fi quite often throughout the day and in public locations in order to stay productive. The biggest challenge remains that most of these Wi-Fi networks, especially public networks, are not as secure as they could be. Let's talk about the elephant in the room for a moment. Just 2 weeks ago, a researcher in Belgium found a vulnerability that exists in a long-standing Wi-Fi security protocol known as WPA2. You've probably seen news items about this. Well, it turns out this vulnerability affects both client devices, such as phones, tablets, Macs, and PCs, and access points as well. So it's going to take a while for this vulnerability to get plugged up. AP providers are starting to send out patches, but it's going to be a while before all devices are patched. So right now, connecting to Wi-Fi with a virtual public network, VPN, is the recommended way to combat crack and other Wi-Fi vulnerabilities. Fortunately, the iPass service already includes a VPN and provides this protection. I've also included a link to the crack attack website in case any of you want some more information. Moving on, as I've mentioned, public Wi-Fi, especially open Wi-Fi, is inherently insecure. Some of the problems with this include poorly implemented radius-based authentication, open radio bearers that aren't protected by passwords, and unprotected backhaul, which means that even if you protect the radio side of the Wi-Fi connection, your backhaul away from the Wi-Fi infrastructure into the rest of the network can be unprotected and easy to break into. We're also seeing an increase in access point spoofing. Now, there are a number of Wi-Fi attack vectors to be aware of. These include sniffing for login credentials, man-in-the-middle attacks, data modification, identity spoofing, and phishing as a result of captured user credentials. We're also seeing injection attacks where people are injecting malicious code onto users' machines by compromising the Wi-Fi side of a connection and then injecting malware into users' machines to either collect personal information, collect login information, or even to drop a bot onto that device to potentially drive denial of service attacks. So simply put, public Wi-Fi is a high threat environment and should be dealt with accordingly. Now, there have been corporate initiatives to try and get their employees to stay away from public Wi-Fi and to use things like MiFi devices or even just 4G, 3G cellular data connections. However, this doesn't always work because sometimes users run into difficulties such as running out of battery on their MiFi or phone, which would be tethered to their device. Inadvertent connections are also due to a device's operating system automatically connecting to hotspots without the user's knowledge. So at the end of the day, users take the path of least resistance to get their work done. And if public Wi-Fi is available, they'll probably use it. Also, employees tend to see public Wi-Fi use as the only way to recoup the productivity gains from their BYOD programs. User education campaigns might help mitigate the risks of public Wi-Fi. Certificates and security risks, encouraging use of two-factor authentication to access any enterprise apps or any apps in the cloud, and disabling file sharing because that can be an injection path for malware onto a device. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Hotspot 2.0 and 802.1x providing Wi-Fi security. However, the deployment is in its infancy. We only see about 5 to 7% deployments among our 160 network providers. It's going to take a long time for a majority of public hotspots to deploy this. And finally, even though you protect the radio connection, uplink and backhaul may still remain vulnerable. As you've seen, these mitigations rely on users modifying their behaviors, which is by no means a foolproof method. Over the years, iPass has invested heavily in ruggedizing our solution and protecting users by overlaying various security technologies on top of our service. Our approach is to treat the whole service as a complete attack surface. We assume users are in an insecure environment. We take every possible measure to mitigate potential attacks. That means we're thinking about end-to-end security. Everything from the client side all the way through the access infrastructure and the infrastructure that we're acquiring, all the way up through into our platform and integration with our providers' billing and authentication systems. We've analyzed and hardened each individual component in our service to block all possible attack vectors. We also look at our end-to-end infrastructures as well to identify and mitigate possible vulnerabilities. The iPass platform continuously monitors and validates our global Wi-Fi footprint to ensure its authenticity. Now, the iPass customer base includes blue chip companies, enterprises, some very big management consultancies, carriers, service provider partners around the world who have stringent security requirements. They all have sensitive information, including PII, that they could be liable for if not properly secured. So iPass is continuously monitoring emerging threats to ensure continued security. Before we begin, I just want to clarify what I mean when I'm talking about the iPass Smart Connect platform. First, we have the iPass Smart Connect app that resides in the user's device. It can be a phone, tablet, or PC running iOS, Android, Windows, or Mac OS. Next, when I refer to the iPass infrastructure, I'm talking about the Smart Connect cloud platform, which consists of numerous services and servers. It also includes access to the iPass network. The client device communicates with the iPass Smart Connect cloud service to provide seamless, secure mobile connectivity for users. Now, the first step that we take to make sure that the Wi-Fi infrastructure is authentic and is performing properly. The iPass service looks for telltale signs of malicious hotspots. First, the iPass clients gather the SSID and BSSID of access points and hotspots we encounter. The Smart Connect Cloud service then checks their validity against our network provider's information. We then correlate the actual geolocation of the hotspot with our network provider's information. A side effect of this is we maintain a very high degree of location accuracy down to the BSSID or access point level. Next, we monitor all this hotspot information for consistency over a period of time and actually create a connection history of the hotspot. Only proven hotspots will make it to our whitelist. When we encounter a hotspot that is suspect, we blacklist it so users don't connect to it. We also have the ability to add new hotspots to our footprint. When users encounter a new hotspot, we carefully monitor it over a significant period of time before actually accepting it into our network as a whitelisted connection point. We also continue our access point validation by checking its gateway certificate. We ensure the gateway certificate is perfectly well formed and issued by a valid certifying authority. The purpose is to make sure that the certificates haven't been manipulated in any way before making a connection. For initial authentication into the iPass system, we use a number of technologies to keep user credentials safe. First of all, we developed the ISEEL algorithm that uses robust encryption to send user credentials to the iPass service. We also ensure these credentials are used only once to prevent bad actors from retrying existing credentials to gain access. Once a user is authenticated in our system, we pivot to a token-based scheme that makes it unnecessary for the user to constantly re-enter their credentials. With our one-time password, a token for the next connection is embedded in the user's device, and of course it's encrypted. We have a number of methods to protect this token so that even if someone gets into the device, they won't be able to log into the iPass network. We'll touch on this later, but we take great measures to ensure the iPass-related data on your device remains safe. Also, as you can see with our one-time password capability, we provide maximum security in a way that does not impact user experience. After all, no one likes to have to constantly re-enter username and password over and over to get a connection. As I mentioned earlier, the iPass Smart Connect service includes the Last Mile VPN. And by the way, this is at no extra charge. When a connection request is initiated from a device, an encrypted and secure tunnel is created so that the data is transferred between the internet and the device is protected. Since all transmissions are encrypted, this protects Wi-Fi users from all kinds of attacks, including the newly discovered crack attack. Using VPNs, by the way, is widely recommended by security experts. And one thing to note is iPass VPNs will not diminish your performance, your network performance. We've distributed VPN servers around the globe to keep them closer to users, no matter where they might be. This shows how the iPass Last Mile VPN works in conjunction with a corporate VPN. And by the way, if you have a corporate VPN, we encourage you to use it, as it secures the connection end-to-end. iPass integrates with a number of the popular corporate VPNs shown here. With the iPass service, administrators can force the corporate VPN to be enabled for all connections. We've made this pretty seamless, so workers can go from inside the corporate firewall to, let's say, a coffee shop and be fully protected at all times. Now let's talk about the security we've built into the iPass platform and infrastructure. First of all data is encrypted, whether it's in transit or at rest. This is in both in the iPass client as well as the iPass backend service. Next, our data centers are SOC 2.0 compliant. This means that they meet criteria for security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. Within the iPass corporate environment, we adhere to strict information security policies. This keeps our information secure and separate from our providers, including PII, authentication, and billing info. We also continuously apply industry standard penetration tests to our infrastructure. In fact, we also run penetration tests that are suggested or required by our customers and add them to our testing suite. Finally, security is built into our software and product development process. This includes rigorous code testing for memory leaks and other security issues, as well as static line-by-line code analysis. Now, iPass security does not stop once a user makes a connection. Once we make a secure connection, the iPass client, in fact, continuously monitors that connection to make sure the network that the device is connected to remains secure. The client invokes periodic handshakes during a user session to ensure it's connected to the right servers in the iPass backend. This is a unique client-centric approach to security, where our goal is to ensure that the network the device is connected to remains secure. Now, a little about iPass. iPass is the leading provider of global mobile connectivity. We offer unlimited, everywhere invisible connectivity powered by the world's largest Wi-Fi network. We offer access to our network with the iPass Smart Connect platform, which is a software as a service subscription model. Our network includes over 60 million hotspots from over 160 network providers, including AT&T, Comcast, Deutsche Telekom, and others. And by the way, an increasing amount of our footprint consists of in-flight providers such as GoGo, United Airlines, SAS, and a number of other airlines. This is all available with authentication in our service. Our network is continually expanding so that we are present where our customers want to be. Here's a very brief overview of what iPass offers for prospects who might be in the audience. First of all, we offer unlimited access to our network that makes costs predictable, keeps employees connected with one flat fee per user per month. iPass Smart Connect technology also improves the end user experience by automatically connecting them to the best hotspot. And last but not least, our Last Mile VPN connects employees securely where they are most vulnerable. In summary, iPass takes user security very seriously. We've been leveraging our many years of expertise in Wi-Fi connectivity to make sure users have the most secure yet user-friendly Wi-Fi connectivity. So at this point, I will open it up to questions. If anyone has questions. Sure, no one? Okay then, I suppose we're done. Thank you very much for listening, and if you want to find out more about iPass, feel free to contact us at sales@ipass.com or contact your account manager. Thanks again for attending.